More than 10 years ago, I was a young junior consultant working late at a client's office at Suntec City. We just went live with a project, and the whole team was there just milling around, making sure that everything went seamlessly. But it had been 1 or 2 hours, and nothing has happened, so I was wondering when I could be allowed to leave. I look at my watch, 11:40 p.m. So I lived at the ass end of Singapore. I lived at Sembawang. And the last train to Sembawang from City Hall left at 11:50 p.m. And I had a decision to make at that time. Do I leave right now and make the last train, or do I take a really expensive cab ride home? At that time, I was the most junior member of the team. And in consulting, the most junior member never leaves before the rest. But I was poor, and I was really just pretending to work on my computer. So I made a split decision. I stood up and I started packing my bags and made the excuse that I had to catch the last train home, to the disbelieving looks of my consulting team there and my senior manager. Before they could say anything, I rushed to the elevators and went down. I went through the maze that was Suntec City and finally reached CityLink Mall. I look at my watch again, 11:48 p.m. I had 7 minutes to get to City Hall MRT. So I took a deep breath and started running through CityLink Mall with my handbag and the laptop just bumping against me. Cluck, cluck, cluck. My heels were running and echoing through CityLink Mall. It was ghostly. There was no one. I finally spied the MRT gantries right in front of me. I was getting excited. I was getting there. But then my heart stopped when I looked at the screen and I saw 1 minute, Jurong East, last train. I started taking a deep breath and channeled my inner Usain Bolt and sprinted towards the gantries, trying to reach for the EasyLink card in my bag. Beep! I went through the gantries, I went down the escalators, and then I saw the train coming into the platform, the doors opening. I ran down the escalators, doubled my footsteps, and ran through the doors just as I heard the beep, beep, beep doors closing to the last train to Sembawang that night. I was tired and panting. I left my bags on the floor, I held onto that triangular strap in the middle of the cabin, and I laid my head on the pole, in the MRT train. I was tired and panting. My first thought was, yes, I saved $25. This is great. And my second thought as I opened my eyes was, oh my God, how is this train full in the middle of the night at 11:55 p.m.? There was a myriad of people, from richly dressed office workers to people in uniforms taking the last train home. But the one constant I saw was the resigned, tired looks of everybody on the train. People were nodding off, trying to stay awake, or looking at these phones in a zombie-like state. So my third thought that night was, oh my God, I am one of these zombie-like people. I was on the last train home that night, dreading the next train in the morning back to work in a different direction. How did my life come to that, right? So that night on that train, I had an epiphany. At the ripe young age of 24 and somewhere in between Orchard and Bishan MRT station, I decided to leave my job, to leave Singapore, and to travel to Latin America in search of a different life. Yes, that train ride changed my life, and 6 months later, I find myself living the hippie lifestyle in Latin America. I lived in a yoga commune. I was teaching yoga, rock climbing. I started restaurants. I had really crazy experiences like bribing people, like carrying tables on my head like the Mayans to save money on cat fares. I was trying to learn how to ride a scooter, and I almost drove into a field of cows, really, really crazy experiences like that. And I led a really great, fulfilling life until 5 years ago, another watershed moment, this time not on a train, brought me back to Singapore. So as it turns out, a full, fulfilling hippie lifestyle did not sound really financially stable. Right? When the price of a meal out in Singapore is your entire month's rent, and you have to use your entire savings of the year to fly back to visit family, you get kind of nervous, especially when you hit 30. So I find myself here today, standing in front of you, and it feels like I've come a full circle. I am back in Singapore, in a high-flying consulting job, married with a mortgage, pregnant AF and about to pop at any moment. And I wondered to myself, how did I come back here again? My husband's greatest fear is that one day I'll take another train and have another epiphany and just run away to Guatemala again, this time with a kid in tow. It might happen, I tell you. I have dreams about this beautiful lifestyle, but this time I really hope to be able to find the holy grail of living a sustainable, full life back in Singapore or somewhere in the world. Any advice? Thank you.